Hello, I am Lalita S. Umraskar, Economics teacher, BYK College of Commerce. Welcomes you in online lecture series for class 12 organized by Gokhale Education Society's Central Coordination Committee. Today I am going to discuss with you law of diminishing marginal utility under the chapter number 2, that is utility analysis. Here first point is an introduction point. Here four things you have to know. First point is here, this law was proposed by Professor Gaussen. This law was proposed by Professor Gaussen. Number two is this law was discussed by Professor Alfred Marshall in his book Principles of Economics published in 1890. And number three, law is a universal in character. What do you understand by law is a universal in character? It means this law is accepted everywhere in the world. All invention and discoveries took place due to law of diminishing marginal utilities. And number four is it is based on consumer behavior that utility derived diminishes with the reduction in the intensity of want. Suppose at this moment I am thirsty, I took first glass of water, it satisfied me a lot. Further I consume second glass of water, my utility goes on falling. If I consume third glass of water, again my utility goes on falling. Okay, so consumer behavior is based on utility derived diminishes with the reduction in the intensity of want. Now let us see the statement of the law. Other things remaining constant, as consumer consumes more and more units of commodity, its marginal utility goes on falling. What do you understand by other things remaining constant? It means law is based on certain conditions or assumptions. Now let us see these conditions or assumptions. First assumption is a rationality. What is rationality? Consumer should be rational. He aims at maximum satisfaction within available resources. Second one is a cardinal measurement. It means utility can be measured in cardinal numbers like 1, 2, 3, 4 and so on. Number 3 is a homogeneity. Whatever units of commodity consumed by the consumer should be homogeneous in shape, size, color and taste. Number 4 is a continuity. There is no time gap between the consumption between two units of commodities. Okay. Next one is a reasonability. Whatever units of commodity consumed by the consumer should be reasonable size. It means not too big and not too small. Number 6 is constancy. What is constancy? There is no change in taste, preference, likes and dislikes of the society. Number 7 is divisibility. Whatever unit of commodity consumed by the consumer should be divisible. It means you can cut into different slices. Number 8 is single want. Whatever commodity consumed by the consumer should satisfy single want and not multiple wants. Now let us explain this law of diminishing marginal utility with the help of schedule, that is marginal utility schedule. In this schedule, two columns are given. In first column, units of commodity X is given, and in second column, its marginal utility is given. Total 7 units of commodity consumed by the consumer. When consumer consumes first unit of commodity, its marginal utility is 10. After that, when consumer consumes second unit of commodity, marginal utility goes on falling up to 8. After that, when consumer consumes third unit of commodity, marginal utility again falls up to 6. So with the consumption of additional unit of commodity, marginal utility goes on falling. When consumer consumes sixth unit of the commodity, marginal utility becomes 0. And finally, when consumer consumes seventh unit of commodity, marginal utility becomes negative. So what is the important observation of this marginal utility schedule? With the consumption of additional unit of commodity, marginal utility goes on falling. And second observation is marginal utility can be positive, 0 and negative. Now let us see the graphical presentation of marginal utility schedule. Look at the diagram. On y-axis we measure marginal utility and on x-axis we measure units of commodity consumed by the consumer. Total 7 units are given. Now let us see the slope of the MU curves. MU curve slopes downward from left to right. When consumer consume first unit of commodity, marginal utility is 10. When consumer consumes second unit of commodity, marginal utility falls to 8. When consumer consumes third unit of commodity, marginal utility falls to 6. When consumer consumes fourth unit of commodity, marginal utility falls to 4. When consumer consumes fifth unit of commodity, marginal utility falls to 2. And when consumer consumes sixth unit of commodity, marginal utility becomes 0. It means it touches x-axis, that is x is equal to 0. Further, if consumer consumes seventh unit of commodity, marginal utility goes to negative region. It is shown by the shaded line, that is known as a disutility region. That is also known as dissatisfaction of the consumer. Now let us see the exceptions of this law. First exception is a hobbyist, second exception is a miser, number 3 is a addiction, number 4 is the power, and number 5 is the money. Hobbies, first one is a hobbies. Hobbies like reading, writing, collection of rare article. What happened in this case? With the increase in the additional unit of this collection of rare articles, reading of the books, yes, MU goes on rising and not falling. Okay, so this is an exception of the law. Number 2 is a miser. Miser means greedy person. Suppose at this moment I want 1 crore rupees. By my efforts I got 1 crore rupees. Again I am not satisfied, I want 10 crore rupees. So here my MU goes on rising and not falling with the additional unit of money. Okay, so miser is also exception of the law. Number 3 is addiction. Take the example of alcoholic people. With the consumption of additional unit of alcohol, marginal utility goes on rising and not falling. So that is also exception. Number 4 is a power. Suppose person acquires power, so his lust for power increases with the increase in the unit of the power. Okay, take example here. Suppose person XYZ is a corporator, so he is not satisfied. So he want to become a MLA. After MLA he want to become a minister. After minister he want to become a chief minister and so on. So with the consumption of the extra unit of a power, yes, so MU goes on rising here. And last one is a money. Money is also exception of the law. So with the additional unit of money, MU goes on rising and not falling. So it is said that marginal utility of money for poor class is more as compared to the rich class. So these are the exceptions of the law of diminishing marginal utility and they are against the laws. Okay. Now let us see, I given here one assignment, one question I given here, answer in detail. This is a essay type question and this is possible for 8 marks question. What question I given here? Explain law of diminishing marginal utility with the help of its exceptions. So how to write down the answer? Let us see. First point, you have to write about introduction. Who discussed the law? Who proposed the law? All these things you have to write in introduction point. Second point is the statement of the law. You have to write the statement of the law. What is the statement of the law? Other things remaining constant as consumer consume more and more units of commodity, its marginal utility goes on falling. Number 3 is a marginal utility schedule and its explanation. Number 4, you have to draw a diagram with the help of marginal utility schedule and you have to explain what are the assumptions of the graph. Number 6 is you have to explain all exceptions one by one. And finally, you have to write the names of assumptions only, no need to explain it. Okay, understood here how to write down the answer for essay type question? Yes. Thank you for listening my video lecture.